Hey Craft Buddies, it's Naomi from EJ's Fun Crafting, aka Mrs. Craft Lady and D, and I am here today with another interview. Sitting with Charynn from, I bet you guys didn't know how to say her name. I'm sitting with Charynn from Pineapple Paper Co. Welcome, Charynn.
Thank you so much, Naomi. It's nice to be here, and I'm so glad you asked.
I am so happy I asked too. I followed you since before I met you on TikTok. I followed you over on Instagram and I liked everything you did. And I was like, this is
Oh,
so cool.
I know,
And
random, right? Like we both kind of, I think, entered TikTok about the same time, and we
yes, and you
became
took
craft
off
buddies.
with your Procreate. Oh my goodness, that's huge now.
It is something. So it's a really funny story.
Uh-huh.
I joined the TikTok creator program, I think, in the same season as you,
Mhm.
and basically as a way to do videos, like force myself to do short form videos because I just don't do a lot of them. And I still don't love doing them. And my now 15-year-old daughter was like, Mom, you should totally do Procreate videos because I use it all the time, but it's not something I share on my blog or. And so she was like, come on, let's do this. And so she sat down and she was like, I'm going to film this video and you're going to like write it and audio it. And she's like, let's see how it does. And it went viral. So she takes complete takeover control of my TikTok account and its success. It's awesome. Like I love that I have this little separate community for something that I enjoy doing, but it's not something I'm really known for. So yeah, it's fun.
And it's awesome because I didn't know you did Procreate before that either. Because, like you said, I'm following you on these other platforms. And
Yeah.
then I'm like, this is, I wanted to go back and delete all my little wannabe Procreate videos from my account. I said, this is the person to follow. Follow Sharon over on Pineapple Paper Co.
Yeah, and I think it's Procreate is something that like I didn't put on my blog because it really lives very well in these short form videos. People don't necessarily want these long, lengthy tutorials on a blog or on video unless you're on YouTube. Whereas on TikTok, you can share one little tip and people really get into it and they watch a lot of them in a row. And I have this great little group of people who just love eating it all up. And it's been really fun and I enjoy it. It gives me a little bit of a creative outlet when I'm not sitting typing at a computer. You know how that is.
Yeah, I know how that is. I know. Oh, computer, no. I like Fridays because I get to be away from the computer on Fridays.
Yes, I appreciate you pulling me away from my
Yes.
typing and stuff.
Your Procreate, TikTok is kind of like your
Right.
side, even though that's where
Yeah.
you've blown up. Tell us about Pineapple Paper Company. Where did that come from? How did that come to be?
So I have always been really creative. I'm not creatively educated. I'm a science nerd. I went to college for science and
Oh,
um
science.
yeah, so once we had my oldest kids, it just wasn't really we couldn't afford to send the kids to daycare or anything. So I was at
Yeah.
home with them and got really bored. So I started creative businesses when my oldest was 2, so probably 13, 14 years ago.
Wow.
Um, so yeah, the it kind of evolved over time and things I was doing. And I absolutely love pineapples. I love the South. I travel there as much as possible. And it just kind of took on its own little thing. So I originally created Pineapple Paper Company in I'm trying to remember 2016, 2017. And I was going to make professional stationery because I loved creating like those over the top kids parties and all of
Oh,
this
yeah.
stuff. So, and then I quickly realized that I like to do a lot of different things and I could share it with people. So I kind of got picked up by Cricut early on in my blog and it's just evolved from there. I don't do a lot of stationery anymore because it's really time consuming and it's hard to
Mhm.
do. Um, but yeah, that's where we ended up. It's random.
So where's your focus now? You went from the paper.
Yeah.
So where do you focus?
It's it's hard because everyone's like, "You need to niche down, Sharon." Um, and I love all crafts. I would say that my focus is definitely SVGs and creating digital artwork for people who use their Cricut or Silhouette or Glowforge. That's where the focus is. But I also love making cocktail recipes, and I also love, um, you know, doing other things like printables. And I do still do a little of the stationery on a printable end. Um, but yeah, I would say digital design. It's probably what people know me for at Pineapple Paper Company.
And they're nice. I like your digital designs a lot. When I think about Pineapple Paper Company, yes, aside from I'm gonna keep saying aside from your Procreate videos because
Procreate,
that's
yeah.
where that's where I go now for my Procreate tips. I'm like, I only want to learn one thing. I just need to know how to do this, and I just find it real quick.
Oh, you're
But
awesome.
your digital your
And it's
digital
funny because
design.
people have really been seeing that the whole time because I started making SVGs in Procreate because I am a Photoshop girl. Like I've always
Mhm.
used Photoshop for everything. And so I didn't know Illustrator, 5, 6 years ago. So as soon as the original large iPad came out and the original Apple Pencil, I was like, yes, absolutely. I've been on Procreate ever since. And that's how I started making SVGs. So
Fun.
you've seen it, but you've not seen the
Not
like kind of behind the scenes on how I do things. And I've had some really great crafty friends who have, guided me along the way and taken some Illustrator classes. And now, of course, I use Illustrator a lot. But
It's
yeah,
awesome, right?
Procreate is where
Yeah.
Pineapple Paper Company SVGs really did start.
That is so cool because that makes it seem even more recent, that, oh wow, you started on that's neat. I love that.
Yeah, and it is like I have not been in this world very long. Some of my crafty friends have been bloggers for a decade or more. I think this is going on because I started it and I got pregnant with my fourth baby like right after. And so, I mean, you know what that's like. It's like,
Yeah.
what did I just do? Um, so I really didn't kick it off that first year. So it's probably this is like third going on to fourth year. I haven't been in this very long, but I
You
love
are
it. I love the
killing it.
community. I love
Yeah.
all of it.
I'm so happy I did come across you and that you are a part of my little
Oh,
community. I love
me
that. I love that
too.
so much. Um, what's a typical day in the life? Because you're talking about having your 4-year-old, and you told me your kids range from 15 to 4. You
Yeah.
do all these things. What's
It
a
doesn't
typical day in the
feel
life?
like that. I don't know if you get this, like having 4 kids, and especially in that age range, we're like in different places all the time. Um, so I feel like I don't do anything. I feel like I'm not keeping up. I'm not doing enough videos. I'm not doing enough blog posts. Hell, like I'm still decorating for Halloween back here. That's why my computer is turned to, so you can only see my closet. Because I haven't even put up my Halloween decorations yet. So, yeah, so typical day, all 4 of my kids, well, not the 4-year-old, he's still, preschool. The other 3 are in virtual school, by choice, actually. Our
Mhm.
2 oldest, of course, were forced into virtual school a couple of years ago now. It's weird saying that.
It is.
Um, so they ended up loving it. They loved having control of their own schedule. They're both in a gifted program, so it really
Mhm.
helps them to like do their own thing and work at their own pace. So they do their own thing. But my 6-year-old is in first grade and she is a product of the COVID environment. She is in virtual school, charter school. And so most of my morning is working with her. She does her live classes in the morning. I will sometimes, if she's being a good girl, as 6-year-olds do, I will sit and work on my computer while she's on. And then, like, every 4 seconds, it's like, Mom, what Zoom button do I push? Mom, how do I do that? So, we do that in the morning. Then, of course, like I'm in the kitchen, like most moms, half of the day.
Mhm.
And then, it kind of just depends. I'm a coffee drinker, so there's lots of coffee that happens. And it's off and on. I
Here's
don't
to
have
you, girl. Here's to you.
I know, right? I don't have one. All I have is like my booze one,
Oh.
which it's Friday. Let's just go with it. Um, so, I'm really bad at like scheduling, especially when the kids are busy with school. So I kind of work like here and there, like, ooh, they're quiet. I'm gonna go get some work done. I work a
Mhm.
lot at night. I usually in the evenings, my husband works until 7:30. He gets home. And so when he gets home, I usually take like an hour for myself. It's always like their evening routine has always been his thing. So I take an
Mhm.
hour for myself and I'm like, okay, what do I need to get done today? Yeah, it's chaotic. It's crazy. I feel like I don't do anything, but uh, you know, it wasn't like this pre-COVID, of course. Like I had a schedule and my kids weren't here.
Not here. Not with me.
They were here. They left occasionally.
It's different. It really is different. But I think that is the thing for a lot of us who are moms and we're doing our business from our home and we have our kids. It's all
Yeah.
about flexibility. We do what we can when we can. I think that's what it comes down
Well,
to.
and I feel like if I create a schedule, and I hope that there are other people like this. Like if I create a schedule and then something happens, it's a lot harder for me to adapt to that because it's like, no, I've created a schedule because I really do love them. And so I
Hmm.
feel disappointed in myself if I
Yes.
can't keep that. So for me, it's just like, okay, kids are my priority. This is what I chose. I love having them at home. um, so it's just like, this is my business and I do as much as I can, but I try to give myself as much grace as possible, especially in all of that's going on.
And it's
Try.
important.
I try.
That's you should try. I try. I try. That's super important because we can beat ourselves up over everything, and then that doesn't help. That doesn't help our mental. It puts us in a bad mental space. And then I don't know
Yeah,
about you, but then I can't create and I can't produce. I'm not good for anything then. When I'm feeling like I failed because I didn't meet my
yes,
schedule, I'm like, I'm not a good
exactly it.
wife. I'm not a good mom. I'm
Yep.
not a good business person.
Yeah, and I
Whatever.
feel like the last year and a half have really ingrained that into my head. It's like, no, I'm those things first. Even if I had a
Yes.
full-time job or whatever, I'm still those things first. It doesn't really change anything. So I try. It's some days are harder than others, just like everybody else. Some days I get so much done. I'm like, yes, this was an awesome day. Look at all that I did. And then the next day I'm like, I didn't even open my computer.
Right. I tell my husband sometimes, I'm like, when he gets home from work, he works um rotating schedules sometimes. So it just depends on his schedule too, how much I get done. Because
Yeah.
honestly, I can't get a lot done with him here.
We have that problem around here too sometimes because there's all kinds of things going on.
Right. And so I'll tell him sometimes, it's like, I know it doesn't look like I did much, but you know what? The kids are safe and everything's cool.
I tell the kids and my husband, I love this. It's like, look, I can either take care of the kids, I can take care of the house, I can take care of myself, or I can work. We only pick one at a time.
We do one at a time. And today I chose me.
Yeah. Say it was not the house. Sorry. You're picking up pizza on the way home.
There we go. There we go. I love it. It's just keeping it real, girl. Just keeping it real. So you mentioned with your creating and your crafting and stuff too. You mentioned your Glowforge. You mentioned your Cricut. You mentioned.
Yeah.
Tell me about the Glowforge. I don't have one
Ugh,
yet.
I can't believe you don't have one yet. I feel
I
like
don't. I'm trying to make
we're all
myself not
falling
want
one by
one.
one.
I think so.
It's I started following Glowforge probably, oh, it has to be 5 years ago now when they were on Kickstarter. And I think my husband found it and he was like, "You're gonna need this." And I was like, "I
That is
am
cool.
not spending." I think at that point it was like $2,000 or something. It wasn't very much on Kickstarter. And I was like, no, because I have to wait like 4 years for this. Like, I'm not doing this. And I just kind of followed them and watched how they progressed. And it finally got to the point that I couldn't take it anymore. And of course, I love it. It is just it suits me because it had like I can use my SVGs just a little differently. I can work with different materials. Um, I have so much fun with it, and I'm waiting for you to fall off the wagon. It's coming.
I'm gonna have. I know. Well, we're in the process of moving houses, so
Oh yeah, you gotta wait. Yeah,
but I'm gonna make sure there's a space somewhere in my area for it. I'm just gonna
yeah.
make
I
sure.
have like a big work chest that way. Um, that has it because I have, big windows in my office, so it worked out really well because I can, like, vent it right out a window,
Vent it.
yeah, and that makes it really easy. I've heard people with the elf air filter don't love it. So yeah, it is kind of like my baby now, but, I mean, really, like, making gifts, like, I make them all the time with my Cricut. I make stuff with my Cricut all the time, but the things that you can make with this thing are, like, completely mind-blowing. Like, look at, like, this I made this acrylic. Can you wait?
Oh my goodness.
Like, it's a nightlight, and I think we were talking about me being a Disney fan, so it's
Hmm.
Madame Leota. Things that I just wouldn't normally do, I'd have to purchase or really get creative with what the tools I had. This thing just does it in, like, a half an hour. So,
How fun.
yeah, it's a lot of fun. I'm really excited. I feel like I've learned a lot more. I'm excited to use it for Christmas this year. Everybody's getting homemade gifts.
Everybody. Do you let your kids inside of your crafting studio? Do you let them play with your craftings?
I do, especially my 15-year-old. She's very crafty. She has her own Etsy shop. And they've grown
Oh.
up with me doing something creative. And I grew up around creative people. So I would say that the 4-year-old and 6-year-old, I have to watch them a little more closely. We pick and choose our activities, but my oldest daughter, she can use pretty much whatever she wants. My oldest son has a 3D printer in here. And so we call it art class. Um,
Nice.
yeah, so yeah, I let them in here. Sometimes it makes it a little messy, but we have fun.
But that's the thing, you have fun, you're with your kids, you're doing something that matters to you, and, they're soaking it all in. I think I remember the most about my mom. I feel like I'm echoing. Um, when I look back, she didn't mind us playing around her feet or being in the while she was sewing or doing whatever. We were always right there with, and then she, if we wanted to do something, she would give us our supplies and let us try. And I like that. I like doing that with my kids now. It's really cool. It's a
Yeah,
really
it's
neat
nice for them.
connection.
I think too that they see that it's work for me. Like, it's
Mhm.
fun and but they also see that I made it work, like I'm
Yes.
doing things that I love. Cause I mean, I crafted before, and I still craft just for fun and make things for the house or whatever. But I think they can see that like you can turn something creative into a business, which I would have never believed as a kid,
Mhm.
even though my mom and my grandfather, my dad were very creative. I was constantly doing creative things. It wasn't a career opportunity for me. I never thought that it was something that I could do and help support my family. That's why I'm a science nerd and why I went to millions of grad schools. But here I am, all of those student loans and making crafts.
But I like that. I'm gonna again see every time I interview somebody, I take something from them. I'm gonna put that for you. Say, make your creativity your career choice. Your creativity can be your career
Yes,
choice.
like,
I
how
like
many
that.
kids I can guarantee you, had I thought that this is something that was real and of course, in, 2000, it really people weren't bloggers the way they are now. There
Mm-mm,
wasn't
mm-mm.
podcasts, so it was different. Back then it was, well, you can be an art teacher. I grew up in the middle of nowhere. There was no, I think I grew up knowing one person who was like a commercial artist. So it wasn't
Uh-huh.
realistic. And I get that now, but I feel like kids have so many more opportunities. And I see my daughter heading in that way. She loves being creative, and I could see her pursuing a career in some way that includes creativity.
So what will be your message to parents who have children who have that creativity and you see that spark in them? What would be your message to other parents?
Well, I think that you have to truly let your kids explore those things. My parents and especially my grandfather, they were always encouraging me to do crafty things and you really can take so many different strengths. So if your kid is
Hmm.
really good at math and also loves being creative, that's like the dream team right there.
Really, it is. Yeah.
Like be good at math and engineering and be creative. Like, I mean, hi, Elon Musk. I mean, so
Exactly.
my kids all have different strengths. They all are very different, but being creative is always a part of who I want them to be because I feel like you can grow more. Your kids can be more. They can be entrepreneurs or they can feel
Hmm.
confident in expressing ideas they have to their boss someday. uh, I always want them to be able to express their creative side because there's something in there. And, whether it's little kids who make messes that drive me crazy or, if it's my older kids, I really see that now. I'm like, wow, they could do something with that. Or, look, I see my kid being an engineer, but who knows what they can create. So yeah, I would say, even if your kid, you want them to be a science major or an engineer or a math major, creativity can play a part in that and make them something amazing.
Yeah. I love that. Thank you for sharing that. Sharon, where can we find you and how can we support you?
You can find me on TikTok.
TikTok! Or
So
TikTok!
I am pineapplepaperco.com. Um, I'm on Instagram. I'm on TikTok. I'm on Facebook. I also have a free SVG Facebook. Yeah, so I am, if you search Pineapple Paper Co., all of those things come up, and I'm happy to have everybody there and answer questions and encourage people to try something new. And I have a secret little project I'm working on called DIYvacationshirts.com. I know.
Ooh.
So we were talking about it before we started recording. I am a Disney fan. My family and I are Disney annual pass holders. So I have a little Disney project I'm working on the side that includes some digital artwork and things that, are not like, hey, I'm going to make Disney stuff, but for people who love Disney just like us. So DIY
Yay.
vacation shirts. If I get motivated, maybe people going and encouraging me to do stuff will motivate me to work harder on it.
Guys, we got to get her. We got to get her to do this.
Yeah, I get
And
it.
what about your daughter's Etsy shop? What's your daughter's Etsy shop?
Instagram is Maddie's Magical Life, and her Etsy shop is Magical Life Co.
All
So,
right. I'm going to make sure I add all that to
oh, I
to the
appreciate it.
description. That way
She
we
will
can
love it.
support.
I'll tell you what, she is way better at social media than all of us. You wait. Like, I look at her, I'm like, I don't even, like, if I had that confidence at 15, man, it is a balance between how much she's allowed on Instagram and what she can share and, the
Hmm.
negative sides of social media. But
We
she's
can do a
great.
whole nother shoot on that. Oh my goodness.
Amen.
Well, thank you for being with us, everyone. Charynn from Pineapple Paper Co. Thanks a lot for being with us.